Hi, good morning, good evening. As per your time zone, I'm Kumkum Sharma from Bridge, and on the behalf of entire Bridge team, I would like to welcome you all in the open live session episode 30. Though we have finished the journey of 30 weeks, I think more than 30 weeks, it's a episode number 30, but there are many people who are joining new and many old people still continuing. But let me just give you the introduction of this live open session. So, guys, this session, the agenda is driven by you. You can ask any questions related to any training, any certification, about your career growth, etc. Anything. And Saket will definitely answer your questions and help you to take the right decision for your career growth. So let's not waste any more time and start this session with Mr. Saket Bansal. Thank you, Saket, for joining me again on this session. Would like to start today's session.
So that's a great thing. Just to remind everyone that we are live on various channels. We are also live on YouTube. We are live on LinkedIn as well. So that's something one can join from. You can also come and post your question on the same platform. So it's like that you go and you can say that, okay, I want to ask a question. You can just start typing there. You are typing on YouTube, you are typing on LinkedIn, both places you can do it. I'm trying to edit the event by adding my name as a presenter. I think I can't do it right now because I believe if I do so it will go to my network also, where they will know that I am doing this session, but I think that facility is not available right now. Okay, so that's something we can focus on. And rest, we will go as per the flow. Hi, Samar. Good to see you back after a long time. Yeah, nice. How are you doing? Yeah, you can ask your question later, maybe, but yeah, good. And I see that you are doing some other programs as well. I was following you on your LinkedIn. Yeah, that's something you are focusing on. Okay.
So I think we are getting some questions, and I think we can start this session with the. So you can pick up the question as per your choice, Akit.
Perfect. Yeah. So let's start one by one. So how to handle the iteration rate as a project manager? So I would personally, I believe, I don't know. Personally, I believe the people leaving the organization has multiple factors. There are factors around the environment. There are factors around the organization also. There are many time factors around the project as well. So probably you need to see what is my influence area. If you and you can probably influence the project space only, not necessarily everything. So in general, in your project space, if you can keep people engaged, manage them with the help of giving a clear motivation of what we are working on, and giving them a space to explore and experiment, that can keep them satisfied as far as the work is concerned. But yeah, there could be other factors also which might make people move here and there. So from your side as a project manager, as you rightly said, you can focus on how can I create an engaging work, how can I make people involved in the decision making, how can I make people feel all the time that they are learning something new every month, every week. They are not doing the same repetitive job all the time. Yeah, that's one thing one possibly can do it. Yeah. Okay. We have a question. Is the PMP exam still based on PMBOK Guide 6th edition? So PMI publishes, they call it exam content outline, and they revisit that kind of exam content outline every 3.5 years for the PMP exam. And the PMP exam is based on that. It is not based on any version of PMBOK. Now, historically, most of the exam content outline was covered in the PMBOK content, historically, till PMBOK version 5 and maybe 1.5 years ago. But since the 2021 PMBOK, the PMP exam has come, it is including a lot of ideas which were not there in the PMBOK and which are not there in the PMBOK in the new versions as well. So it is getting into the details of Agile, it is getting into the details of how the people should be managed in the new world. So the PMBOK guide remains a reference point for the predictive life cycle, but may not be that much reference point for the agile way of working as well as the people way of working. Now, PMI has given you around 14 books list, if I am not wrong, and they are saying that you can prepare using all these books. You can go to a PMP page and read it. And then they say that, overall, you need to focus on exam content outline. So there is no PMBOK for PMP exam. There are many PMBOKs for studying the project management. They will help you in covering the part of your PMP exam. Now somebody get confused. Okay, how then I prepare for PMP exam? Now PMI has solved that problem from another channel. For the PMI authorized education provider, PMI prepares a separate book. They call it Student's Manual. And that particular manual has a topics which are directly one-on-one aligned with exam content outline. It may contain topics from the PMBOK. It may also contain topics which are beyond PMBOK. So if one is preparing for PMP exam, you just get enrolled with education provider like us, or someone who is authorized by PMI, and then you get a study material which is aligned with the PMP exam, and that is good enough for you to finishing the PMP exam. Yeah. Now, is reading PMBOK 5 or 6 or 7 can help me? Even if you read or understand PMBOK version 5, which is like a 5-6 years old version, you may get 30-40% of the PMP exam content outline covered. And even if you study the PMBOK version 5, 6, and 7, all three, the percentage of coverage may not go beyond 50%. So don't get into the versions much, but focus on your PMP preparation. Okay. So the another question is coming that is the PMP exam much easier for a person who is a certified Scrum Master or a little bit with a project management experience? So see, certified Scrum Master may be done by many people and it's a 2 days program. But the whole essence is if someone understands agile way of working well, they may get some advantage to get kick-started with the PMP exam preparation. But at the same time, we make you prepare for agile part as well as for non-agile part. If you are coming as a certified Scrum Master program or an agile professional, then you may speed up because around 60 to 70% of the content in the project management space is influenced with agile way of working. But the agile way of working of a PMP is very different from certified Scrum Master. I would say not, if very might be different, it is done in the project context. The Scrum, what you learn in the certified Scrum Master, is primarily taught to you in the product context, and they don't recognize a person named project manager. Where in the PMP exam, you are studying agile in the overall context of project, where there is a clear understanding of finishing and starting. There is a team which is collected together for executing the project, and there is a role of a project manager to ensure the project deliverable. So we can say, yeah, there are similarities, but at the same time, there are differences, and one has to mix those things and identify how to apply the agile as per different contexts. And that's the unique value of PMP exam, learning as well as certification. I'm not sticking to a particular framework. I'm not sticking to a particular way of doing agile or non-agile. What I'm sticking to, if you are working in a project, if my client wants something to get done in a limited budget, in the limited team, and they want to have some visibility around it, how do I manage that? That's the whole idea of doing PMP certification as well as study. Okay, yeah, great. Now I take the question related to Summers, SPCs, scale SAFe Program Consultant. Is there any prerequisite for SAFe Program Consultant? So from a scaled agile perspective, they don't have a very hard-coded prerequisites, which means they may have a recommended prerequisite, but they are not going to validate or ask you to declare something. They do expect if you are doing agile and project management for a while, in case of you are already doing it, Summer, so you don't have any problem. But yes, one can directly go for SPC certification. From scaled agile perspective also, you don't have to go for leading SAFe or anything else before doing SPC technically. But I believe you have already done leading SAFe, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, doing a leading SAFe is a good idea because you end up observing SAFe first before you go for SPC certification. The SPC certification is primarily meant for those individuals who want to get into training and consulting business of SAFe. It is not for using SAFe, but it is primarily for teaching and mentoring people on SAFe. So please be careful about your uses. And we do have a a video which explains when should you do SPC and when should you do something else. Okay, so these are the few questions which we have covered till now. Okay, so we have a question. Which one is saying that after a year of implementing Agile in the organization, portfolio manager says we didn't find much difference with the waterfall. So what might have wrong? We don't know. We don't know. It might be a very hypothetical things. And we also need to understand what is the meaning of implementing Agile. Yeah, what was the goal? So maybe we had a goal of making releases every month where we used to make releases once in a year. Was that the goal? And if yes, have we made that goal really achieved? Or was the goal is that we can produce better features which will be more successful in the market rather than keep producing those features which are not turning out to be great when the market is using it? So what is the goal? Or the goal was that we will stop investing in those ideas which seems to be a waste ideas which are not going to make money. So we want to terminate our initiative fast because we will learn this initiative is working and this initiative is not working. So we need to understand, and someone is saying that we need to understand what was the concern, what was the goal, and which part of the goal is getting achieved and which part of the goal is not achieved. That's the whole idea of doing it. Yeah. And one can say that how the portfolio manager will know if things are not working as per plan. Now, the idea here is if you want to work as per plan, my recommendation is don't follow Agile, follow predictive life cycle. Predictive life cycle way of working is a very good way of working if you have a better understanding of what you want to do. So when you want to follow a plan, better create a better plan and then execute it. Let's not get into a situation where you are making tentative plan in Agile way and want to follow that and have a proper adherence to it. That will be a big mess. So if you have a good plan in place, if you know your problem well, if you know your solution well, and you believe following a plan is going to produce me a better results, and you can see that is happening, then just do that. Then do a good planning and follow that. That's what we teach in project management. You don't have to unnecessarily do something, unnecessarily do a raw planning when you can do a better planning. Yeah, that's the whole context. Now, when do we do Agile way of working? When we don't have an ability to plan. So when you have skill and ability to plan, then you want to follow that, please don't do Agile. It's useless. It's wastage of money, time, and confusion for everyone, because it is thinking of we will learn over the duration. When you are learning over the duration, then following the plan is not the goal. Then learning is the goal, and skipping or dropping the ideas which are not making sense is the goal. So when we are following Agile, we need to focus on how are we learning. Are we able to make right decisions? Are we able to remove the wastage in our overall solutioning? Only focus on the things which are really giving value. That's the thing we should focus on, and that's what we should be working when we are working in the Agile way. Okay, so as a project manager, how do you define timeline, milestones, estimate, release, etc. in the Agile project RFPs? I believe same way, the way you do in any project. So the idea here is, if you have to do all this, it means the agility is not needed. Maybe you don't follow Agile and you do the way you want to. You define milestone, you define estimate, you define release plans. Now, when do you use Agile? When you know that don't know the requirement. Then rather than planning the Agile project in a waterfall manner and saying that we will execute in Agile, we need to understand when we are following Agile, we need to take a different approach for estimation, different approach for stakeholder communication, different approach for dealing with the problem. So that different approach cannot be the same approach which we have done last time. So when we are doing Agile way of working, usually these way of workings are capacity oriented. We will say we will invest 10 months of time, these many people together, And this is the process we will use to find out what can be done and what cannot be done. We will have a periodic review where we will demonstrate what is done and what is not done. And based on our performance on those review, you can decide you want to continue with us or not continue with us. Yeah. So that's the overall thing. But if you believe you can give a milestones and project what scope you need to do in all those milestones, I prefer you better do your traditional detailed planning and come up with those milestones as you have been doing all the time. You have been doing that successfully all the time. So why to confuse? Why to confuse with doing something differently and trying to do the same kind of reporting, contracting as you have been doing before? So we need to see from a different context. Yeah. That's my opinion, and I probably your company must have figured it out, yeah, because else you may not be quoting the RFPs where the agile might be needing. Yeah, so we have to figure that out. Yeah. So as we said, usually the capacity-based plannings are the done, which are 60 to 70% of the agile projects are time and material. Else they could be stage gate also. You may say that rather than contracting for 1 year, we only want to contract for 2 months, and we have a fair understanding of 2 months, and after that we will decide. So whatever work best between those two parties, you do it. If you have a very less trust between the vendor and the provide like client, then going in the agile way might be very risky. Yeah. So you may only do short-term contract, and you better follow waterfall on those short-term contracts. Yeah, that might be easier, because agile way of working can only work well when you have a good trust and transparency between those two parties. So doing something first time for a client, maybe better you pick up a small slice of it, well define it, do it, and based on that, take the next work. Yeah, that's usually the case. And once the trust get developed, then people will do capacity based work with you. That's what I have seen. Maybe in one or other organization it might be different, but yeah, that's something is we have seen most frequently. Yeah. Okay, so we go one by one. Yeah, so here we have done a Scrum Master, how to resolve conflict between team members. So I would say it's a role of any leader. So you can call it Scrum Master, you can call it team leader, you can call it project manager, whatever is your title. Working with the conflicts is always a job of a leader. And conflict, we need to study what is the source of conflict, what is the type of conflict. There could be conflicts which are coming just because of confusion. People don't know who is expected to do what. People don't know, am I expected to attend this meeting or not attend this meeting? People are unclear about where do I put my finished work and what all need to be done before I finish the work, or where should I go for and find these things. And that's why I'm creating all the confusion. These kind of conflicts, confusions usually come the initial stage of team working together. And many times as a leader, you try to improve the process, improve the framework, improve the meetings, and also create a better trust and communication amongst the people so that they can give and receive feedback fast. So I can say, overall, I want to focus on how can we have a transparent system where people can know what is working, what is not working. How can I facilitate people have a working agreement so that people are clear who is expected to do what? How can we have a clarity of completion work, like definition of done? And then how can we have some amount of good understanding about each other by way of creating some teaming and grouping activities, so people can have an introduction and they know how to deal and work with each other. So that's the foundational thing. But still, once you cross that boundary, then there will be a healthy conflicts, or more important conflicts will coming in, where we have a difference of opinion. Sometimes those difference of opinion may become strong difference of opinion. But if you have taken care of a first part, where you have created good trust, where you have created good feedback system, where you have created a good transparent system, then the team might be able to handle those conflicts on their own. You don't have to do an intervention. But assuming if there is a situation where you need to do an intervention, then you do based on the situation at hand. And the generic idea which always help are like good listening, making people appreciate each other's opinion, focusing on facts rather than on opinion, and always focusing on finding the common ground which is beneficiary for the end customer. So one person is saying A, one person is saying B, doesn't matter. What matters is how can we serve our customer well, and both of you should focus on what is important for the customer first, and then we figure it out A, B, C, or D, which option helps us in doing the customer value delivery. So customer focus, open transparent communication, ability to listen to each other usually works, but then we need to see who is there, what is the context, and then we handle the conflict accordingly. Okay. So that's interesting. Can you share your idea how can a plan an MVP and as an agile coach? Just go on LinkedIn and change your title as an agile coach and see how people react to it. So it's like this. Yeah, and I know few people who doing it differently. I give a different context because I have a proven case study there, but I may not know for agile coach as a proven, but I can suggest something. So what is the idea of MVP here? We just want to understand, am I going to get response if I declare myself as an agile coach? Am I going to get calls from the interviewers, etc., etc.? So what is the possible thing is I need to try it out. I probably put some keywords in my profile and see if those keywords start attracting the recruiters, and I start getting emails and calls. But I may not take them, I may not schedule an interview, but I know that with my profile and with these kind of tweaking, the call started coming in. Yeah. So one of the person was interested in knowing the value of a particular certificate, and what he did is he was very active on job sites. He updated that his profile for a while and added that certificate into it, that as if I am certified ABC. And then he noticed what is happening, and he was just observing the number of people connecting to him during that duration, and then he removed that certificate, and that helped him to figure it out, that is it good thing to do or is it not that great thing to do. So that's a one possible test you can drive safely, or you can also study others' profile who are in the market and what kind of a jobs and a career they are making. So that's a possible thing one can do. Okay. So we are saying after 1 month of joining a new organization as a Scrum Master, PO says that he didn't like the work done by the Scrum Master. What would have made a PO to say like this? The Scrum Master should ask that. Yeah. So Scrum Master should ask that, okay, how can we work together? But one thing is very clear. If I am working and somebody is saying I'm not liking your work, yeah, whatever is the situation, whatever we are doing, one thing is definitely going wrong. The expectation management is not happening. The person was expecting something else from me and I was delivering something else to the person. Say I go for a training or I go for a consulting. I spend 2 days and somebody comes and tell me, this is not working. What does it mean? Definitely it means clear cut, the expectation management is not happening. So as a Scrum Master, I know that there is a mismatch in the expectation. Now, what can I do about it? We need to discover and find out the common ground if we can. There is a possibility we can say that this guy is not capable of meeting my expectation. There is a possibility. There is definitely some percentage of possibility, but there is a good percentage of possibility where the expectation might not be matching because we were not clear about it and we have not worked proactively on managing those expectations. So I need to talk and understand that, okay, you are not happy. Thank you for sharing with me. Yeah, and thank you for sharing after a few weeks only, because if you would have shared after a few months, I might be in a bigger problem. So it's a great thing. The product, I feel the product owner is doing a very right thing, very good thing by upfrontly sharing his or her opinion with the Scrum Master. Now it's a Scrum Master job to make it right. You got an opportunity. Yeah, that's the thing which I can say here. Yeah. Okay. Great. So how can one become a program manager directly from a Scrum Master? Is a PMP mandatory to become a program manager or a delivery manager for getting a profile recognized by the employer? Do an analysis on the job portal. Yeah, because these kind of things can be very opinion driven. I might have my own opinion. What you need to do is, I have a particular title in mind, and a program manager at some places might be getting X salary, at other places might be getting 2X salary, and other places might be getting 4X salary, but all titles might be program manager. Does this all program manager means the same thing? The answer is no. So we cannot have generic answers to it. We need to see which salary program manager you are talking about. or which experienced program manager you are talking about. And same is true for Scrum Masters also. There is a very generic discussion we can keep having. Now, each organization is paying some money, and against that money, they expect some profile. They expect some job needs to be done. So we need to see a job descriptions which are matching with my target one. I go to a job site, I search program manager, I see various profiles. I understand the 4x is beyond my reach, 1x is too less for me. I want to focus on 2x, and I see, looks like a lot of things are matching. Looks like few things are not matching. Let's fix them. That's a great way of finding out. In general, what I believe is, if organization is working in a project mode, now that's an important thing. Project mode means they are taking the work from clients and they are doing that work for the clients. Like the question we had, there is some amount of invoicing management. There is some amount of like deal and milestone management. In those cases, irrespective of what they say, what they do, but there will be a good amount of project management needed. So whatever role you do, if you are working in a projectized space, there is, in my personal opinion, there is always a value in learning project management skill, and the PMP certification can help you, not just a tag of a certification, but help you in learning project management skills. In our customer base, we find around 20 to 30% of our customer base end up doing career transition by way of studying for PMP. It becomes a kind of a life-changing event for them rather than just adding a one certificate. They end up repositioning their whole profile and thing. And not just because they have a certificate, because they spend time understanding the various aspects of project management, and that gave them a big confidence. They end up knowing a lot of things which are going beyond certification. So that's my advice. But yes, you can do a study on the job portal. Okay. So is there metrics to measure impact by a team of agile coaches in transformation at a PMO level? Similarly, how can we measure impact by a specific Scrum Master at a team level? So if I am the guy and I'm a Scrum Master, and how do I know I'm doing a good job or not? And how do I know which areas are not working and which areas are working? So that's an important question for any individual to think of, irrespective of role. Now, how do you get that information? So you need to have some amount of feedback mechanism to tell you what is working and what is not working. Now, if you are a product manager or a sales guy, you probably know the amount of revenue I'm generating. That's a clear-cut feedback. I'm doing more money, I'm getting more money. This thing becomes more critical or more variable when you are influencing, facilitating others. Your role remains in the background. You are not the player, but you are a facilitator. Yeah, and then there is a game played by the team. So their winning and losing is one parameter. Definitely, it's a one parameter. But there could be other parameters also. Sometimes you might be doing a great job, but because of various reasons, teams are unable to win. Yeah, so that's also a possibility. So this becomes a very tricky things, and this becomes a very tricky things for the coaches, because many times they are going for short duration coaching. So their contract is not going to last forever. They have a sufficient some boundaries to meet to. Now, in order to handle that, the coaches need to come up with a metrics or a measurement system against their performance, against the impact they are creating. So you need to think, what could it be? One of the possible things could be that you may collect some set of feedbacks, some set of surveys, maybe 360-degree feedback kind of things, which may talk about how the coaching is happening, and you conduct that on a frequent basis. That's a possible thing. Usually in our coaching class, and we recommend people to set up the coaching alliance. So whenever you are working with a team, you set up an alliance with them. You talk about what is your part of the work, what is their part of the work. So it creates some amount of expectation management. So people understand what they can expect from you and what you are expecting from them. And in the same alliances, we also talk about how do we reflect on how the things are going, how the coachings are going. So one of the simplest thing is we may run a time boxed sprints, and at the end of a sprints, we have a retrospective, and we may have a little structured retrospective where we may check various parameters depending upon the context, and we take a feedback on those parameters, maybe numerically also between 1 to 5, as well as subjective also, where people make a comment about what is working and what is not working, and that may work as a foundation for you to reflect and correct and probably create a better impact. Okay, so that's the thing. But yeah, there are a lot of assessments also. So if you are a little bit interested, so there is a business of agile transformation and matrices and assessments also, where there are sheets which can talk about how the transformation is working at a team level, PMO level and all. So sometime you may want to check them out as well. As a resource, Scaled Agile provides you good resources to start with, even if you are not using SAFe. But it's a open resource base to start with, and then you will know where to go for more details. So if you go to scaledagileFramework.com, you can see the icon which is linked with measure and grow. So you can study the measure and grow part of assessment part, and that can help you in dealing with this more better way. Okay, is it better to get a job abroad as a Scrum Master from India? I have no idea. This, for at least this one, most of our clients are as of now doing the same location job. So if they are in India, they are doing job in India. If they are in US, they are doing job in US. Yeah, we do have a good number of clients in the US, Canada, and on that particular and Europe space, but they are as of now hosted there. The exact job is a function of various parameters, and lot depend upon your history, your experience, as well as the organization you are targeting. Yeah, so that's something we have to focus on. There is a possibility the Indian jobs are more in a service oriented space, where they are selling the Scrum Master to someone else, whereas the other countries jobs are more like a consumer oriented product oriented space, where you are doing the job for your own company's initiatives rather than someone else's initiative. So that's the one factor. So you can say a product company versus project company or service company. That might be one of the factor which may define the differences between how the things turn out. So what is a good size of agile transformation in terms of number of people? So if you are working in a scaled agile space, you start with few trains, 1 or 2 trains. Yeah, so which means one train is 125 people. You start with a 1 train. If you are working in the Scrum space, you may start with 1 or 2 teams. So I would say that we may need to see the overall goal and a first pilot size depending upon that goal. So some percentage of it, and which will be good enough to take a risk. If something is not working, you can roll back, and that there is not a lot of disturbance happening. So 1 or 2 teams for 3 iterations or 4 iterations are good enough. Yeah, if you are focusing on Scrum and see what is working and what is not working for them, and after that you may decide to replicate it by multiply by 2 or multiply by 4 factor. That's a one possibility. And similarly, we also observe happening in the scaled agile space, 1 or 2 agile release trains are good starting point. So no idea about the channel which you are sharing. I don't have anything there. Okay, so how to make team update JIRA? That's another question. So why should they do it? It's a usual issue. How do I make process adherence in the team? It could be a JIRA update, it could be attending a meeting, it could be anything. So why should one follow the process? Now, if you are trying to monitor me based on what I update in the JIRA, and you end up asking 10 questions to me, and I get into trouble because of I am those doing updates, I'm not interested in doing it. But if I get help because everybody's updating it, and I end up knowing a lot of things here and there, and we can collaborate effectively because we have status information available at one place, I may want to do it. And this is true for any process, not only on JIRA, any process. For our own team, we use JIRA or a similar kind of tool. We use JIRA, we use Asana, we use too, and we also use a CRM software. And we do like initially especially, we struggle a lot to make people update any of these things, because it was looked as an overhead and people were not getting any value out of it. From their perspective, I am not getting anything out of it. But over a period of time, when I see that my work is getting managed, I'm easily I'm able to collaborate with others. I can find the reference of my past conversation. It is easy to talk about what is working and what is not working. And since we are working in a more and more virtual world, I'm getting so many benefits out of it. Now, after say 2-3 years of working, most of our people are using at least one core system, where they feel little lost if the system is not available, because all the informations are there. Yeah, so they can't even think of not using it. So that's how the background is. Now, if you have a 3-4 people only and they see it as a pure overhead and a lot of things are happening in the memory, then maybe tool is not needed. But when you have a distributed team, complex work to do, then tools will add value. So it all depends how you are making the tool used and how the value is getting generated out of the tool. It may require initial discipline, because the value may not be visible in the beginning itself, and we can take a working agreement from the people for a duration. The leader may need to work a lot initially to make the tool popular, by way of looking at the tool again and again and creating some set of reports to remind, tell, as well as helping them to find out information using the tool. But once that utility is done, people will start following it up. And we are into JIRA consulting as well. Yeah, so that's something. If you want to install, configure, and manage a lot of automated reports using JIRA, you can connect with us. We have a consulting group which takes care of configuration, installation, and management of various JIRA thing. And what we are observing is, without having a structure, just thinking that we will follow Agile usually is becoming not sustainable for long duration. So we need to have a system to support. Not the system cannot transform, but the system to support the different way of working is needed in order to make the different way of working stick. Yeah, so we need to have those tools in place to make the things stick, else these initiative will disappear soon. Yeah. Okay. So we have a question: how easy to transform from a Scrum Master to a project coordinator? So any transformation job, my standard recommendation will be, you have a job A which requires 10 competencies. You have a job B which requires another 10 competencies. Out of these two, some of the competencies will be overlapping and some will be unique, and I need to just fill the unique one. That's it. Now, specifically speaking, the project coordinator and Scrum Master, there are a lot of overlaps, like facilitation, creating collaboration, resolving issues, impediment handling. A lot of things might be common. That skill might be common because we are using generic term. All project coordinators are not same. All Scrum Masters are not same. There is a coordinator getting X salary. There is a coordinator getting 10X salary. Similarly, Scrum Master getting X and 10X. So it's a little generic, but yeah, there is some amount of commonality. The difference thing which you may need to do additional stuff is primarily focusing on the understanding of complex project reportings. So whenever you get into a project coordination role or project management role, you need to start looking at the overall project literatures, glossaries, and creation of the information. Many times project coordinators usually exhibit excellent skills in Excel handling. They represent excellent skills in the graphs and data presentation. So data handling skills becomes little important as you get into a project coordination skills, and that might be something which you need to add to. It is true for project managers also, working on tools like Power BI and creating a lot of dashboards, accumulating data coming from various teams, because you tend to work with multiple large complex environment. It's just not focusing on one team and their Excel based report. That is not necessarily a coordinator or a manager will do, because you are working in a context where you are expected to work in a little better space. So handling Excels, handling Power BI, having good sense of the data and project management terminologies is a good starting point. Yeah. Okay, so which SAFe certification is good start? Do we have any class for it? So from a scaled agile company, they have around 14 certificate, 1-4. And each certification is targeted for a different kind of problem or a requirement. They have a one certificate which is called Leading SAFe, which comes with a certificate called SAFe Agilist. That particular program has been targeted as an introductory program of scaled agile framework for managers and leaders. So if you understand the overall context of leadership and project, program, product delivery, and you want to understand overall how SAFe operates, the Leading SAFe program is a good choice. That is also recommended as a first step for learning SAFe. So you can try that out. 80% of the people who do SAFe certifications usually do Leading SAFe to start with. And then there are others which may come at some point in time when you are getting into a specific role. Do we conduct that class? Yes, definitely. In fact, day after tomorrow, we are starting one batch. I run 2 weekends batch where so that we can spread the learning across 2 weeks. So we have one class happening this Sunday and the other two happening the subsequent coming weekend. So if you visit our website, you can find the detail about our My Leading SAFe class, which is happening this weekend as well. So we have a question. So how to best answer? Tell me about yourself about the interview question. So I need to see, most of you talk about agile, user story, understanding customer need. Many of you must have studied it, focused on it. But when you are going for interview, are we applying the same concept there? Do we understand the persona of the person who is taking an interview? Do we understand what they want to know, what matters to them? Which part of my experience, which part of my personality might be important for them? So when I say, tell me something about you, what I need to focus on, what you probably want to know about me. And in order to do that, I may need to do some amount of study about your organization, about the context, and I may want to also take some clue from my initial discussion with any set of people which I might have done in the organization. So out of my 100 things which are relevant and which I may talk about myself, I need to pick up the one which are relevant for the organization. Yeah, the experience, the history which you believe is relevant for the organization, and may also bring some experimental thing which may put you as a distinguished or as a separate guy. And after that, you can pause and finish with the question, is there any area you want me to get more into? Yeah, so and you can give few options also. So focus on something which you believe as per your persona understanding, the understanding of the organization, what they may want to see in the targeted profile, yeah, so that you are making their decision making easy, and then you find out other things. You don't have to come up with the one standard answers which you give everywhere. If you do that, we are not doing agile, because agile is all about user centric. The person who is asking the question should be the center of your answer. So do we have a phase-wise approach for agile transformation for a large program? So if we really do that, it will become waterfall. Yeah. So please try to understand, when we can have a step, very, very well-defined step, and we have a clear plan to follow, then we are just following waterfall. And there is nothing weird about it. Many organizations are following waterfall for bringing agile in their organization. So that's a possibility. And there are education programs, models which are selling it, whole the idea. Now, the whole thing is, these things are very dynamic in nature. We can apply Scrum. Yeah, we can create a transformation backlog, and then we can focus on prioritization and run sprints and find out how incrementally we transform the organization. We can have a roadmap, and then we can follow Scrum. That's something there. But you may say, no, my company wants to know the whole plan or whole roadmap in the front. Then you may want to create something with the help of various models. One of the popular model which is working in the industry is the Cotters 8-step framework. The scaled agile is also relying on that particular thing. If you want to know more about those whole transformation things, there are programs which are teaching transformation stuff. But I believe Cotters 8-step framework, knowing that and understanding the variability into it, is a good starting point. So you can do Google Cotter's 8-step framework. They do have a free ebook also, which you can download from their website. That's a good starting point. Rest, you need to bring the engagement of the people as well as your experience to find out the real approach for a given organization. So team updates, wait for a stand-up, for a call for a Scrum Master to update comments on their stories. So yeah, we need to talk what is working and what is not working. Yeah, maybe it was comment against something, but I think we have moved forward. So what are the best practices to consider for Agile transformation? I think I just answered. We don't want to make Agile transformation a waterfall project. Yeah, that's the one thing. So there will be a good variability, but in case you want to just get started with something which is industry a favored one, so you can go for Cotter's 8-step framework. You can download the ebook, and that will be a good starting point. So do we have a DevOps course which is not in a SAFe mode? As of now, we don't have it. Yeah, so we just have the SAFe DevOps in our case as of now. So which certification is most valued and which certification is most asked for? So in November 2021, I did Scrum Master job analysis, and I picked up the organization from North America, and I did my limited data analysis. The video related to that particular job analysis is available on our channel. If you search Scrum Master job analysis, 𝐻𝐸𝐿, you will find that video. And in that sample, when I was focusing on North America and doing a Scrum Master job analysis, I do observe the Certified Scrum Master was asked. So now that's the one approach, yeah, which you can follow. And you may check my job analysis report, and you can do the similar analysis. Go to the country which you are targeting, the geography you are targeting, look for a job portal, search Scrum Master jobs, pick up 10-20 job descriptions, see what is commonly coming, and the truth will be in front of you, because these things keep changing. But in my analysis, when I did the same job in November 2021, I found the Certified Scrum Master was coming prominently, and then they were coming, sometime others were coming as a slash, and the also okay to go with. Yeah. Okay, so the question is coming. I'm a Scrum Master with 5 years of experience. Can I take a SAFe Advanced Scrum Master certification? Will it be a good move? So the SAFe Advanced Scrum Master will teach you the Scrum way of working in the SAFe context. Yeah. The primary assumption of SAFe Advanced Scrum Master is that you have seen and felt SAFe at some time. Means you might have attended PI planning meeting. You might know few things about SAFe. So what does it mean? It will not teach you SAFe from the zero. So if you have a decent understanding of SAFe, and if you have decent understanding of Scrum, then you can do SAFe Scrum Master and make a maximum use of it. Now, will I going to learn something drastically different if I have a decent understanding of Scrum and decent understanding of SAFe? I would say that, yeah, there are some topics which are focusing on anti-patrons and facilitating work with the product owner. So they may be little insightful, but rest will be more or less the same thing. You need to see what value you want to get from this certification. Do you see some target job? You see that where the people are asking for SAFe Scrum Master, Advanced Scrum Master program, then you go for it. We do get many people doing SAFe Advanced Scrum Master program. We run SAFe Advanced Scrum Master program. And usually if someone is Scrum Master and want to have a SAFe Scrum Master, we recommend better to go for SAFe Advanced Scrum Master, because doing SAFe Scrum Master again maybe not that much value add. Yeah, and more or less the process, price, and everything remains the same. So if you stick to doing Scrum Master from a SAFe context space, I would recommend go for SAFe Advanced Scrum Master after doing SAFe Scrum Master. But yeah, if I'm assuming you have a decent understanding of SAFe, either by doing leading SAFe class or by studying SAFe or participating in some of the SAFe events. Okay, so ITIL, TOGAF, COBIT, we don't do any of these. Yeah, so we don't know much about them. Yeah, that will be too risky to talk about these certificate for me. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I have taken the course of SAFe Agilist 2 years ago and became SAFe Agilist. I have done CSM, I have done CSM, ICP-ACC. What would be the next level that can help me in my career? Yeah, interesting question. So, someone is well equipped with SAFe, Scrum, and Agile coaching. How can I add more skills for my future growth? That's a question which is coming. Now, usually adding a lot of certification may not be that much valued. We need to look for the certification which are also building a significant amount of competency in the individual. So after doing few certifications, which are good enough as an entry level certificate, ICP-ACC is a good for Agile coaching entry, CSM SAFe is good for that particular entry. So I think these three certificates, you have done a great entry level certificate, very great thing to start with. Now focus on some competency building certification. So if you are working in a project management context, irrespective of using Agile without Agile, then doing PMP is a good idea, though it may look a little weird, but PMP has a good amount of agility into it. You may not face much of the challenge. The another possible alternative could be the ICF coaching program. So we have around 6 to 7 months coaching program, which is little long duration, required more time and money investment, but that helps you in getting and acquiring the International Coach Federation's ACC certification, and it also helps you in building the coaching competency because there are a lot of practice and assessments attached to it. So that's another thing. So coaching, the pure coaching one, ICF one, delivery, the project management one. On the delivery lines only, I want to sharpen my delivery skills. You might want to add something around Kanban as well. Though you have done SAFe, you might have some elements of Kanban added through that, but having a good understanding of Kanban is also a good idea. What we have been observing, even I think Gartner also presented some report on Agile skills in a recent time. Usually whenever the skills are needed, along with Scrum, people need Kanban, and they also ask for scaling frameworks like SAFe and other, and they sometimes also get into the details of user stories. Yeah, so I'm dropping various ideas: delivery, project management, pure coaching, ICF, more delivery and service oriented, and many cases Kanban, and further getting well with the product owner, because one of the key skill needed for Scrum Master as well as Agile coaches are dealing and working with the product owner. So getting into the shoe of the product owner may also be a good idea, maybe with the help of CSPO or by doing self-study. Ability to understand, write, explore user stories seems to be a good skill to add to. Okay. So we can say how to give a feedback to a leadership, to a senior management, how to develop these skills. So ICF coaching program I spoke about recently, that can help you giving feedback in a way which is not offensive. It also, rather than giving feedback, it focuses on asking questions rather than telling and judging something. So it's more about listening and asking question rather than giving any conclusions. And if someone wants to sharpen that skill, the coaching skill helps you in doing that. If someone wants to go for a structured program for it, the ICF coaching program which we run can help you in doing that. It's a long duration program because skill building takes time, but the idea here is I won't speak till the time I listen well and understand other person's concerns. I want to get completely in empathy with the other person. Once I understand the whole feeling, thinking, and speaking of that other person, then I want to validate that by way of asking questions. And my questions will probably also help me in validating as well as making the person think some other alternative angles. And based on these two parameters, I will decide what to do next. Yeah, and probably if I have some sharing, I may give a open, non-offensive, fact-based feedback, and we sharpen that skill with the help of learning coaching skills. Okay, so where is the career path for a Scrum Master? So we spoke about this sometime, and as I said, not all Scrum Masters are same. Not all Scrum Masters are doing same type of job. Though the Scrum Master might be defined uniquely for everyone in a Scrum guide, but the organization may have their own way of inheriting that particular class and adding more roles and responsibility to it. So we need to see which type of Scrum Master I am, what are my current roles and responsibility, because my current roles and responsibility opens up window for me for my next profile. And I need to see, say, for example, some Scrum Masters might be too much involved in the requirement exploration. That's something which you might be doing. Yeah, so you understand the product management might be an interest area for me. Some Scrum Masters might be too much involved with delivery management, project management, delivery management, along with doing their Scrum Master space. Then they may want to grow in the delivery space, the overall project management, program management space. That's a possibility. Some Scrum Masters might be working in the complex multi-team organization space. They may want to get into the release train engineer or multi-team Scrum Master profile. So that's another a growth profile possibility. Some of the Scrum Masters might be getting opportunity to run community of practices, working with other Scrum team and facilitating overall transformation. And they may be liking it and enjoying it. They may start working into an Agile Coach journey. They may want to become a coach and consultant. So there are various paths: coach, consultant path, delivery management path, release train path, product management path. All paths are possible. So what I need to do is what all opportunity I have, what are the overlap I have in my current job description and the future role which I want to do, and where my interest area, so that I can build my competency, knowledge in that path and go forward. So that's something I can suggest here. Now, what is the job prospect for ICF certified professionals? Do we have a special thing? What I believe is that many times it is more like a desired one. It is not like a CSM. It is not like a PMP, which will be very commonly coming into the job description of the profiles. But it works as a differentiator, because usually the certification level jobs are available till a middle management level. They are not beyond that. It's not about certification. It's about the experience, references, and the overall story which we are building. With the help of a certificate, I can become a manager, but with the help of certificate, I cannot become a director in the organization or vice president in the organization. Nobody will hire that this guy is certified, so let's make him a vice president. There is a little less probability. So these certifications, like the ICF one and the one, they are more as a statement of competency and some kind of a smart objective. So I can say that, yes, I have demonstrated something, but the major thing is a competency. So your ability to coach is going to grow you, not necessarily just an ICF certificate. But yes, if you want to get into a coaching space, like even if you are to do the Scrum Alliance coaching programs or any other body's coaching program, the ICF program is kind of a recommended program, and it gives you quick weightages. And many times when you are looking for Agile Coach and other coaching kind of roles, the ICF program will give you a weight. That's a clear weight. But yeah, many times I find people who are into leadership domain, with the help of competency as well as certification, they get advantages. Yeah, so that's something I can say here. Perfect. So great. So I think we made good use of this all. Now I just wanted to share, we also run Clubhouse. Yeah, and initially we were limiting it to our clients only, but gradually we have started opening up for others as well. So in case you are interested, you can drop us a message and we can share links with you. Again, still we are keeping it a little exclusive rather than posting it here. But yes, there are mechanisms to have interactive communication. Like here, it was more text-oriented communication. You put a question and I answer, more or less single. Yeah, trigger is there, but then it becomes a little bit one-directional. In the Clubhouse space, we can do a bi-directional. You can speak, I can speak, you can speak, and then someone else can also speak, and we can compile a lot of information together. So if you are interested in those kind of interactions, do let us know. We will help you to find out how to engage and join that particular group with us. Yeah. So anything else, Kumkum, before we close?
I think this session was a very, very insightful, and I think throughout the session, Saket, you were, sharing the information and you answered all the questions. So in between, I was just noticing there are some people, they are raising the queries regarding the certification, SAFe certification and other. So guys, if you need more information about the certification space, this is our sales email address. You can drop email to us and we'll provide you all the information. related to that particular training and certification. And I am very active on LinkedIn, and I really love if you ask me something, if you want to discuss something with me. So this is my LinkedIn profile, and you can connect me and we can discuss over the LinkedIn, and I can connect you over the call as well. So that's all from my side. And we are running these sessions second Friday of the month and the fourth Friday. So the next Friday will be not there and there is no sessions. But if you are interested in the clubhouse, yes, you can connect me, or just you can drop email to the sales and we'll add you in our session, and we'll catch up again on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook channel fourth Friday. And that is fourth Friday. Let me just send you the date. Yes, it's 22nd of April. So we'll catch up again on 22nd April. In between, we can discuss over the clubhouse. So I think good place to close. Saket, any last minute thought would you like to share with
I think
our
perfect,
audience?
perfect. Yeah, perfect. Good place to
Okay.
close. Thank you,
So guys,
everyone.
take care of yourself and we'll catch up again.
Thank you.